The northern big cities and southern smaller cities of America have a widely different culture, although being in the same country, which is what makes America so diverse, which is what I'll be discussing in the speech. In the wintertime, do you wear the brand Carhartt or more of a black turtleneck sweater with a designer purse? That would probably depend on what region you live in, the north or south of America. I have been to both cities in the north and south, and they each have their own way of life that make up their cultural differences. These differences are the way they interact with one another, the food, and the clothing and style. A huge difference between the north and south is the way they interact with each other. The south is known to be more polite than the north, and this is known because in the south they are taught to use sir and ma'am according to epi.sc.edu to show, when talking to older people, to show respect, politeness, and friendliness. And this video is a prime example of why it's a big deal.
Baby, can you wipe down the counters for Mama, please?
Yeah.
What did you just say?
Yes, ma'am.
They use that to show respect to older people, like their parents or teachers, etc. Also because the north is very fast-paced because of the traffic, a lot of the jobs, and the overpopulated cities, people don't really have the chance to stop and talk to one another just because they're in a hurry. Lastly, family is a big thing in the south because the cities tend to be much smaller, which makes the communities have a tighter bond and more welcoming and talkative to others and to each other. To go along with this, my family and I are from Chile, and when we moved to America, to Bowling Green, it was a much smaller population, so people were very welcoming and talkative to us because of their culture, which is now a part of ours too. Another big difference between the two is food. Grits are a very big deal in the South, and according to thehour.com, when African Americans were slaves there, the women would make grits for the families they served, which stuck with the South ever since. And when I went to Florida, I ordered grits without knowing what they are. And although living in a relatively southern city, it was still good to learn about another city's food aspect, different food aspect for mine. Another big difference is sweet and unsweet tea. In the north, they have iced tea, not sweet tea, there's no sugar, and in the south, their sweet tea is very sweet, full of sugar, and this is because, according to thehour.com, this is because they always got more of the imports of tea rather than the north. They didn't really get that. And lastly, another big difference is hunting, which goes into food. When hunting, a lot of people hunt deer, rabbits, and even squirrels, and they use this meat to eat. And the north is not accustomed to this. They eat more like seafood and soups, and they buy their food rather than hunt it. The last example is the clothing and style. According to dailytarheel.com, the north tend to dress more modern and have a more fancy look, expensive look, rather than the south. They tend to dress more comfortable, just like jeans and a t-shirt. Also, in the north, they tend to dress more monochrome, it's like black and white, while the south wears more bold colors and a lot more accessories, which my outfit proves. I'm wearing a Kentucky sweatshirt, it's more comfortable. You wouldn't see a New York City person wearing this. And lastly, because of the weather, people in the south, it's much warmer down there. They wear more flowy clothes and more comfortable clothes, just like jeans and a tank top. While in the north, because it's colder, they wear clothes to match that weather, like big jackets, longer dresses, and more layers to their clothing. And to conclude, even while living in America, you don't always get to experience the different cultures of the different regions in the country. And after hearing the speech, you've now gone to learn and have a better understanding of the different culture aspects, which are the way they interact with one another. Between the north and south is the way they interact with one another, the food and the clothing and style. It's good to understand the different cultures of the different areas so you can be a more cultured person and understand where others are coming from, so you can understand where others are coming from, and you can also teach others about your own culture. Thank you.